like the rushing of a mighty wind, like the rushing of a mighty wind.
So let's fire away right away. What is your disagreement when you read my note?
Well, I mean, living in America and not experience, because I never lived in the South. I've never experienced direct racism or hatred or anything like that. And I've never lived under the Jim Crow laws. But we read it in books. We see it in movies. Spike Lee has definitely made some great movies on living in the South, or how to, or people experiencing Jim Crow, or living in the Jim Crow area. So when I've heard this topic or this subject on there's no such thing as white supremacy, I said, well, what about the Aryan race or the Brotherhood? What about the KKK? Aren't they part of the white supremacy group? Aren't these the folks who made it very difficult for Black people in the South during the Jim Crow era and the civil rights? You know, these are a system that was in place for white people or people who were in power to make it very difficult for people of color.
Yes, it is. Everything you've said is true. Mm-hmm. When I say there's no such thing as white supremacy, I'm simply asking people to help define for me. When you use the word white supremacy, you're saying that white people think, or you're saying they are superior or supreme? Because the word supremacy, I think, comes from the fact that somebody is supreme. So is it an affirmation? Is it a question? Or is it an accusation? What is it when they say white supremacist?
So right off the bat, I think he's being a little bit disingenuous. To say that when we call someone a white supremacist, we're just affirming that they are white supremacists or that they are superior, like it's an affirmation of their supremacy. It's a little bit dishonest to me. You know, when we refer to people as Pan-Africanists, we're not affirming that. We're just saying that's how they describe themselves. That's how they describe themselves. So just the argument of saying white supremacy and using the term white supremacy as an affirmation of it is, again, just a little disingenuous to me.
Well, that's a good evaluation. I would say white supremacy, from the way I see it, or the way it's been defined to me, or maybe the way I evaluate the whole concept, is a group of white people believing that they're superior and they don't want any exchange with people like me or people of color. Mm-hmm. Or it could be extended to other folks as well.
A certain group of white people who believe that they are superior.
Yes,
you said. And where might we find these kind of statements made by one particular person, a group of people? Where is it? Are they the ones saying it? Because when I came to the United States of America, just like you said, I came to the United States of America, I never heard. I've lived in a white town for 5 years, Westport, and I've lived in a black or mixed town, which is Bridgeport, and I've traveled in the United States. I've never met a white person who said to me or to anybody or I hear say, I'm superior, therefore you can sit in my car. Okay? So where did it start? Who said it? Who said that? Okay, what does the white supremacy do? You see, when you say something like atheists and theists have only two things. Atheist says, I can't see God, therefore there is no God, right? Mm-hmm. A theist would then try to, say he hasn't revealed himself to you. One, white supremacist, is this an institution? Is it a building? Do they go to work? Do they have a hierarchy? What do they do on a daily basis? And what do they do that affect people, as we said, negatively? Who said white supremacy? The white men said it, or we made a conclusion that their behavior is because they think they're superior?
Again, he has to know the difference. He has to know that white supremacy is not a concept that Black people came up with. just because we saw their behavior. So now we call them a white supremacist because they behave that way. We would have referred to a bunch of people as supremacists if that was the case. And again, I think he's actually pretending he doesn't know this. I think he just wants to prove a point. And I think he's willfully ignoring certain facts in order to be able to make a point. Because he can't not know that white supremacy was a thing at one point.
So, I mean, I don't know when the term was actually coined, white supremacy, but that's what they've been called for
Yes.
since the 19th century.
That's correct.
That's what they've been called.
Yes.
And so this is what we call them as well.
That's correct. That is what they've been called.
It's also what they've called themselves. It's originally what they've called themselves. It's not just what they've been called. It's what they've called themselves. And I think, is that not a known fact that white people have called themselves superior, or white people have thought of themselves as superior? Does he not know this? Or again, is he just pretending he doesn't know that in order to make a point? It's hard for me to really believe that, given his credentials, well, let me not even say that because I don't even know what his credentials are. But it would strike me as odd that he doesn't know this history.
Every time people find themselves in a situation they think they've been oppressed, of course they have to find a word to describe the other person so you can identify him as the one you're talking about. But I am saying, if the people have not continuously built an institution, a building, a place, somebody is paid, they have a hierarchy, continuously saying, you mentioned the KKK. I've been to their headquarters when I used to work in Shelton, and I've gone on their website. They simply said that they believe that white should remain white. They don't want to mix their race, and therefore they don't encourage interracial marriage. They want to, just like the Koreans are doing today, just like the Japanese and the Chinese and Indians all over. There is nothing suggesting that therefore the Koreans are superior, or they say they are superior to you.
So again, he's suggesting that it was Black people who called them supremacists because of the oppression they felt against them. And so Black people, in order to identify white people, called them white supremacists. I think he knows better. He has to know better. And to make matters worse, he's even suggesting that the KKK is no worse than the Koreans and Japanese and Chinese that kind of, try to create this ethnic nationalism within their country, and that there's nothing more to the KKK than what these countries, these Asian countries are doing. But again, does he know the history of the KKK? I'm sure there's writings out there about the KKK referring to themselves as superior. Does he have writings of Koreans and Japanese and Chinese referring to themselves in the same way? I understand that these Asian countries may be, may follow ethnic nationalism or an ethnic nationalist ideology. I understand that, but I don't know of them referring to themselves as being superior to others. And I don't necessarily believe that the idea of ethnic nationalism has to have a superiority idea behind it. I just don't see that connection. And again, I can't help but think that he knows better.
So the Aryan Brotherhood doesn't say or promote that they are That they are superior?
Well, even if a group of, the other day I was invited to come to an award called Black Excellence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you are excellent, then everybody else is what?
No, he can't be serious. He cannot be serious. Referring to yourself as excellent means you're superior than everyone else? He can't be serious. It's as if the more he says, the more disingenuous he gets. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Does that make sense? If you speak of Black excellence, because the idea of Black excellence is a way of kind of, I think, promoting improvement in the Black community. It's just a way of trying to improve the Black community. But I don't see where that necessitates that you're saying you're superior.
In the 70s, we had, I'm Black and proud. Black is beautiful.
So now he's equating the idea of being Black and proud and saying Black is beautiful. That is equivalent to Black supremacy, or in this case, white supremacy. That's crazy. That's just an irresponsible thing to say. That's kind of ridiculous. Being Black and proud and saying Black is beautiful, these were ways that Black people actually tried, or these are methods that were used to try to help Black people to stop feeling inferior. So for him to now try and say that is equivalent to saying Blacks are superior is kind of ridiculous to me. It's kind of ridiculous and just irresponsible, short-sighted, and just shows like a real lack of true knowledge of history. Especially American history, I guess. It just really is irresponsible and just kind of pseudo thinking in my view right now. I'm really disappointed.
We went around Muhammad Ali and everybody saying, I'm superior to you, and I can show it to you, either in boxing, in running, and in the other.
So Muhammad Ali saying that he was better than his opponents makes Muhammad Ali a supremacist? Like, whose man's is this? This doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the way he's trying to why is he trying to minimize the idea of white supremacy? Like, it's just interesting to me that he has to minimize white supremacy in order to make whatever point he wants to make. That's just that's crazy to me.
If people say that, a group of people, but it's not an institution sanctioned by a government, we don't make laws and pay taxes to the white supremacists every year. So even if a group of people, Black people, say we are the best thing God ever made, Millennium College is better than everybody, we say it all the time. But just because you're saying it doesn't mean that it's an institution, I can see it, it does anything to me. So why do we keep repeating the word?
It may not be an institution today, but slavery was an institution when white supremacy was at its heights. When white supremacy, at least in my view, when white supremacy was a thing, they used it to justify slavery. So you could look at, slavery and white supremacy at a particular point kind of went hand in hand.
Like when somebody say, for example, you've heard this, mm-hmm. He doesn't like me because of my skin color. Who said that? Is it the person who did the hating or the person who was hated? Who said he didn't like me because of my skin color?
The person who's being hated.
That's correct.
But that's not the same thing as white supremacy. Hating someone because of their skin color is not the same as thinking you're superior because of your skin color. A bunch of people don't like people because of their skin color, but that doesn't equate to them thinking they're superior. Like that's not what white supremacy is. White supremacy is thinking you are superior because of your skin color, whether you like the other person or not. I don't have to hate you to think I'm superior to you. I can think I'm superior to you and love you. It's not the same thing.
Does that make it true? You didn't ask the person who did the hating. You wanted something to show why he had that behavior. Does it make it true? So I've seen plenty enough white supremacists. Yes, of course, if you live in America, from all the things you described, Jim Crow law, slavery, and all the things that happened to Black people, very, very bad things done by very cruel people. No human being should be exposed to such. But let's just call it what it is. It happened everywhere.
So now he seems to be saying he does know white supremacy exists? Like, now I'm a little confused. So does white supremacy exist or not, Mr. Zanu? Or are you saying because it happened everywhere, it doesn't matter? Like, I'm a little unsure of what point you're making. So let's get to the point.
It happened in India to what we call the untouchables. Badly treated, they live in less than animal conditions. It happened in Africa, in my own tribe. It happened in Rwanda. Blacks killing each other, not with guns, so it's quick, with blunt machetes and throwing babies into wells. Everywhere you look on earth, somewhere in Europe, the Barbary gang tortured people. Women were killed in 1557, the witch hunt of England. Women were hanged and tortured. It has happened everywhere. But here, there is a difference. Black people see white people all the time. And just the distinction in the colors makes you angry because it reminds you something happened.
Wait, so now I really don't know what he's trying to say. He says it happened everywhere. So it happened everywhere, but America is the only place that it happened where there was a distinction in the colors of the people. That can't be true. That's ridiculous. And if it happened everywhere, why is it that America is the only place where the Black people started to call the people supremacist? Why didn't the people in India do that? Why didn't the people in Africa do that? Why didn't the Africans call the other African tribes supremacists? I don't know what point Mr. Zanu is trying to make. I don't think he knows what point he's trying to make.
You got to find a name to call them. Or their behavior, they think. I believe, if you ask me, white supremacist is an affirmation. We are trying to affirm that they are superior.
But don't they affirm themselves? They're the ones who gave themselves that title.
No,
right?
I haven't seen anywhere where a white man wrote a website or they have a business or an institution, a school where they said, hey, by the way, we're superior and we are in this, and we come to work every day to just let you know who is paid, who's doing that. Where can I find it?
So there's a group out.
Where can I find it? He asks. So I always find stuff in ChatGPT. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT. I said, what is the origin of the term white supremacy? It says the term white supremacy has roots that go back several centuries, but its modern meaning took shape gradually. Here's the clearest breakdown of its origin and evolution. 1. Early concept, 1600s to 1700s, before the term existed. The idea of white supremacy existed long before the phrase itself. European colonizers, British, Spanish, French, Dutch, Portuguese, developed arguments that Europeans were superior to indigenous peoples and Africans to justify colonization, enslavement, land seizure, racial caste systems. These ideas appeared in religious writings, example, The Curse of Ham, misinterpretation, Enlightenment racial theories from Locke, Hume, Kant, and Linnaeus, colonial law, example, Virginia slave codes. They didn't use the phrase white supremacy, but they explicitly promoted European white dominance as natural and legitimate. Number 2, the first use of the phrase, late 1800s. The earliest known uses of the actual phrase white supremacy appear in the 1860s to 1890s, especially in the American South after the Civil War. The term appeared in Southern newspapers defending segregation and anti-Black voting restrictions, political speeches by redeemers and segregationists, white supremacist organizations like the Ku Klux Klan. Example usages: 1868, Southern newspapers used white supremacy to promote restoring white political power during Reconstruction. In the 1890s, politicians in North Carolina's, quote, white supremacy campaign used the exact phrase on posters and political pamphlets. So the phrase becomes widely documented during the Jim Crow era. 3. Early 20th century, institutionalization. By the early 1900s, quote-unquote white supremacy was a common term used openly by segregationists, lynch mobs, politicians, newspapers, eugenicists. Southern states proudly called their political movements, quote, white supremacy campaign and, quote, white supremacist government. There was no shame or hidden meaning. It was advertised openly as a political ideology. 4. Modern usage. Mid to late 20th century. During the Civil Rights Movement, the term shifted from being a self-description by segregationists to being a critique of racist structures. Scholars, activists, and civil rights leaders began using quote-unquote white supremacy to describe Jim Crow, police brutality, discriminatory housing and employment systems, colonial rule in Africa and Asia. People like W.E.B. Du Bois, Stokely Carmichael, James Baldwin, and Malcolm X all used the term to describe a global structure of power based on the belief in white superiority. So, plain as day, Black people referring or describing white people or the white power structure as being white supremacist came way later, way after white folks invented the term and used it as a political ideology. But let me just finish this reading by ChatGPT. Number 5, the contemporary meaning, 1980s to now. By the 1980s onward, quote-unquote white supremacy expanded to include explicit racist groups, KKK and neo-Nazis, systemic and institutional racism, global racial hierarchies, colonial legacies. In modern scholarship, white supremacy refers not only to extremist groups, but to systems of power that maintain white dominance politically, socially, or economically. In summary, origin of the idea is the 1600s colonialism to belief in European racial superiority. The origin of the phrase white supremacy is the late 1800s, especially in the post-Civil War American South, where it was used proudly by segregationist politicians. In the modern usage, 20th century civil rights movement transformed into an analytic term describing systemic racism. And that just makes sense to me. And any cursory search for the origins of white supremacy would explain that. And so for him to say he's never seen anything like that, I don't know. I don't know whether to take him seriously or not.
That's called the Patriot Front.
Yeah.
They call themselves white supremacists.
I don't believe so.
No?
During the route of North Charlottesville, we refer to them, we have the Antifa. They say they are anti-fascist.
Mm-hmm.
We add all kinds of adjectives just to make them look bad as much as it can. By the way, let me accept it for this discussion.
Mm-hmm.
if the Patriots, is that what they called, or the Proud Boys?
The Proud Boys.
Okay, if they said,
And there's also the Patriot Front.
right,
That's what they're called.
if they said, we are superior,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't mean that therefore whites are white supremacy. It's a group of people who believe this is the word we want to use to describe ourselves. That doesn't mean that there is an institution, a government sanction, a group sanction, a vote affirmed fact that there is such a thing.
I think what we just read about the Jim Crow South proves that there was in fact such a thing.
There is bad behavior. White people have behaved badly colonizing people. Africans have behaved badly colonizing and buying tribes, people from tribes as slaves. Indians have behaved badly creating an untouchable class of people who suffered for years. The Barbary gang of Northern Europe did bad things by buying people and the Ottoman Empire, name a place on earth. Why? Only in America should there be same behavior of Indians, of the Northern Europeans, of Africans, when a white man does it here, therefore you're a white supremacist.
So he seems to be sticking to his story. He seems to be sticking to his nonsense story. It's not just a response. The term white supremacist and black people referring to them as white supremacists is not just a response to their bad behavior. It just isn't. The response came way later in history. But white supremacists use the term to define themselves. That's the original usage of the term.
That is what I
These are
mean.
groups that say they want to segregate themselves from every other race, and they want to be alone because they feel like their race is pure.
Yes.
And their race. Oh,
Yes.
so you're agreeing that their race is pure too?
No, I'm saying
Okay.
opinions. Yes, you are listening to opinions of people.
So
Yes.
they believe that no, I don't want to live near you.
Yes.
I want to live in a segregated
So why are you
area.
affirming, therefore, these people are white supremacists? You're just affirming it that yes, a group opinion. Fine, but I'm saying nowhere in the Constitution of America or today's laws and rulings when we have our representatives, has there been a stamp, an approval, a vote to say, yes, people in this country should recognize that we white people? It is nowhere.
It is somewhere. We've established that it's somewhere, Mr. Zanu. You may want to brush up on your American history, but it is somewhere. And I gotta say, I think I would see where an FBA would consider this man to be a tether. Like if that would have to, because I don't see why he's undermining the history of white supremacy in America. And I could see where an FBA would be really just angered at this type of just his whole air of, thinking he knows it all and knows better than everyone else when he's so obviously wrong.
So even a group of people said it, like white can dance, white can jump, black says it, millennium, we have the best. We say it, but everybody says something. What?
Everybody says something, he says. Whites can't dance, white men can't jump. This is what he's equating to white supremacy. Yeah, how much of this video is left? I don't know how much more of this I can take. Like, this man is saying like some really silly things, and in a really kind of condescending way. I don't know how much more of this I can take.
What you've just described is actually overtly and explicitly in South Korea, where I lived for 2 years. You cannot even just date and walk the streets of 1991 when I was in Korea. He doesn't have to be related to the woman. He will hit your head with an iron bar and you will die. They killed 2 American soldiers and a Filipino. Koreans believe in eugenism, what you described. We don't want our to be mixed with anybody. You marry one, you go away with it. That's nothing wrong. That's what they want. But the Koreans are not saying, therefore, if you go to Flushing where the Koreans are, and because they don't like intermarrying with people, they're going to say Korean supremacy, even if a group of Koreans said it. Japanese said it back in the Second World War, telling all Asians, Japan is not just an Asian country, that they are actually superior. But that is not a national, nobody got hurt because somebody said that. And just because a group of people said something like that doesn't make it become an institution that I can see and touch and go there and find people. It's not there.
It's not there. If by there he means America, he needs to really be quiet. Koreans and may not have been, and Japanese may not have been trying to hurt nobody. But, you know, slavery did hurt some people. Jim Crow did hurt some people. So it's not there for him because he just doesn't want to see it, apparently. He just does not want to see it.
It doesn't affect anybody's daily life in America. It's a lie.
Now, I may agree with him that white supremacy does not exist today and does not affect people's daily lives today. But if the discussion is about whether it's ever existed and whether or not white people ever considered themselves to be white supremacists, and whether or not white supremacy was written into law at any point in American history, then I'm not gonna agree with that. I think he's kind of taken it. He's going a step where I wouldn't necessarily go.
Because
so
one,
white supremacy does not.
No, it doesn't at all. They're Proud Boys. They go on the streets wearing hoods and drinking Mountain Dew, and they tattoo themselves with broken tooth. They don't affect anybody's life. What I'm trying to say is this: there are Asians who live Asians live in America. They're not white. We never find them on television crying that their business is not working well because of white supremacists. Middle Eastern people live in America. They're not white. Why is it that the white supremacists only affect black people and not the others who are not white?
Yeah, again, I may agree with him that may be true today, and he may have a point when he speaks about white supremacy today. But during slavery, there weren't any other people here. The only people that were here really in any type of numbers were white folks and the black slaves. Even after slavery was abolished in 1865, and during that time with the naturalization laws, the only people that were allowed to become citizens were white people and black people. During that time, America was considered to be a black and white nation, and they excluded people. They excluded Middle Easterners, they excluded Asians, even Native Americans who were on the land with them. They excluded because they specifically saw America as a black and white country. And so I agree with you that it's a tougher sell for today, and he may be making a point for today, but during slavery and early after that, it definitely was something that was real, and white supremacists were only affecting black folks because it was really just only them that were here.
So white supremacists don't go out and terror people. White supremacists don't go and lynch people. White supremacists don't go out and threaten people.
KKK Americans did lynch people in the South during the slavery. KKK burned torches on people's lawns because they don't want you to be in their neighborhoods. I would describe it that way. A group of people did that. It's true.
Okay.
Yeah, but why do you keep saying white supremacists?
I think she keeps saying white supremacists, sir, because the KKK refer to themselves as white supremacists. Here's what ChatGPT says. I asked ChatGPT, did the KKK refer to themselves as white supremacists? It said yes. The Ku Klux Klan openly and proudly referred to themselves as white supremacists for most of their history. Here's the clear breakdown. The original Klan, 1865 to 1870s, white supremacy is as an open identity. The first KKK, founded by ex-Confederates, explicitly described its purpose as, quote, restoring white supremacy in the South, and, quote, defending the supremacy of the white race. Southern newspapers, politicians, and Klan supporters frequently used the term white supremacy to describe what the Klan stood for. This was not hidden language. It was openly published in newspapers, pamphlets, and speeches. Number 2, the Jim Crow era Klan, 1915 to 1940s. White supremacy as a public campaign. The second Klan used phrases such as, quote, white supremacy must be maintained, and, quote, our mission is the supremacy of the white race. During this era, Klan rallies featured banners, posters, and flyers explicitly using the term. Politicians endorsed by the Klan openly campaigned on white supremacy. In fact, the North Carolina 1898 white supremacy campaign fully supported the Klan sympathizers, literally fully supported by Klan sympathizers, literally used the phrase on posters. Number 3, mid-20th century Klan, 1950s to 1980s, still openly white supremacist. During the civil rights movement, Klan groups continued calling themselves white supremacist organizations and, quote, defenders of white supremacy. Examples include Klan leaders like Robert Shelton and David Duke referred to preserving white, quote, white supremacy. Klan publications explicitly used the term white supremacy until the 1980s. 4, modern Klan, 1990s to the present. Softened language, but same goals. Modern Klan groups still believe in white supremacy, but they often avoid the term because of social stigma and legal pressure. They now call themselves white civil rights groups, white heritage organizations, pro-European identitarian groups. This is more about public relations than ideology. So in summary, did the KKK call themselves white supremacists? Historically, from the 1860s to the 1980s, yes, repeatedly and proudly. And today, they deny the term, but still hold white supremacist beliefs. So again, I think Mr. Zanu has a lot to learn about American history. You know, we all have a lot to learn about American history, but Frank Zanu seems to be really lacking. And it's not like he's not familiar with the KKK, because he brought up the KKK. He knows of the lynchings, he knows everything else, but somehow when it comes to the white supremacist stuff, he just doesn't know anything about that. That's just black people calling them that. He's never heard. That's kind of crazy. That's just so crazy, which is why I'm like, yo, is he being serious? Like, is he really being sincere with this?
So let me ask, maybe it's a grammar. When you say white supremacists, what do you mean?
A group of people who believe that they are superior than any other race.
So what does it mean when you repeat it, these white supremacists? What does it mean?
That's a good point.
What do you mean? What does it mean when you say these white supremacists? It means exactly what she just said. These people who believe they are superior to everybody else. Like, what is... This is craziness. This is like, I don't know why I expected more. Like, I expected a more... I don't know. This is like really kind of... And I'm very disappointed in the host. The host doesn't seem to be able to make any good arguments. And to agree that what he just said was a good point, like, do you know what a good point is?
Are you affirming what they have said? Because you see, I'm trying to say to you, because it has happened in my own tribe. Mm-hmm. There are people we know very well. We know in the Huegame district of Benin Republic, mm-hmm. the Abome tribe, they founded the Women Warriors.
Okay.
Agoshe. They are powerful. My father's tribe, my mother's tribe, we are weaklings, okay? When they are coming, we bow down and say, take and go away. So we began to call them in a language you call here something like the hooligans.
Mm-hmm.
We made the names, these hooligans, because of what they do.
Yeah, he's making a really weak argument. It's not just what they were referred to as. It's what they referred to themselves. I don't know what else to tell you, Frank. I don't know.
We thanked the French when they finally arrived. That was the only time they tamed them. So it's the same thing when you watch the behavior of white people, what they have done. Yes, you can make a name for them, but what you're doing is affirming. If these people can go out and colonize successfully for years and nobody ever succeeds colonizing them, if these people can go out and take over countries and buy slaves and hold them down, and well, they must be good.
He says they're called white supremacists by black people because black people are just impressed. Because black people think they're superior. That's why we call them white supremacists. This man is saying a lot of nothing, but it's too much. Too much nothing.
Well, that's what I was brought up in Africa told. The white are superior. It is my people who told me, not a white man.
So now he seems to be projecting. Now he's projecting what happened to him and saying it's the same thing going on with African Americans. It was his African people, it was people in Africa that told him whites were superior. So it's the blacks in America that keep telling themselves that whites are superior. Like, that's not necessarily true, man. Like, the Africans' experience with white people isn't the same as the African Americans. And what you're saying just is not true. Or rather, it may be true for you, but it's not true for the African American. Y'all may bow to the white man even when you're not chained. That's the only time the African American did it. After the African American lost their chains, they stopped bowing to the white man everywhere they saw them. So the fact that in your experience in Africa, you're seeing Africans bowing to the white man and these are free Africans, doesn't necessarily mean that's what black folks in America are doing. So I don't know why you're projecting what happened to you in Africa and using that to say that's what's going on in America as well. That's just craziness and just irresponsible thinking, I think.
I see.
It is my mom, my dad, my uncles, my community members, my teachers in Africa. Ask any Nigerian, ask any Beninois, ask any Togolese, unless they are lying. Anybody above the age of 50 knows in our folklore, in our music, we play it. Go and listen to Chalamanda. When I was a young boy, I want to go to America. They tell us that is the land of superior people. It's in my language, I can say it. Yovonudahe. Anybody who can understand Benin will tell you what I've just said, and they've heard it before. So when I arrived here, my people have already told me that white people are superior. But the things they have seen, airplanes flying, they said it's magic. Ships floating on the water, they said it's magic. Okay? So all these inventions, television came, no, we say Yovonudahe. Anytime a radio is turned on and speaking, and they say the person is from far, Yovonudahe. When we see a toy that can walk, we said the white man is so good, it's like God. He has done everything but put blood in a toy. That is what we say in Africa. Everybody knows what I'm saying. Do you know what they say in Ashanti land? The Ashantis have a saying, and I can speak Ashanti. Oh, kwa sorry, now share bronia, kofie, wahunyame. If you are going to church and you meet a white guy, turn around and go home, you sing God. So white supremacy was created by us to describe something we're confused about.
So you're saying black folks created that name white supremacy?
That's correct, from Africa.
Yavuru Dahe. Is that what he said the word was? Yavuru Dahe. He said Africans invented the word white supremacy, the term white supremacy, and that specifically in his language in Benin, it was Yovoro Dahe or something like that. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT, is there a term in the Benin language for white supremacy? And it says, short answer, no. There is no traditional Benin, Fon, Yoruba related word that directly means white supremacy. But here's the full explanation so it's clear and accurate. Why there is no indigenous term. The concept of white supremacy is a modern colonial era ideology. So it's a modern term. It seems to me that he was trying to make it seem as if this idea of white supremacy is something that goes back through, African tradition and through African history. But that's not what ChatGPT seems to be saying here. It says the concept of white supremacy is a modern colonial era ideology. Pre-colonial Benin, the kingdom of Dahomey and surrounding societies so Benin is the kingdom of Dahomey, or Benin is located where Dahomey was. Okay. Had no concept of white people as a racial group. Wow, Dahomey, man, this man is from Dahomey. I did say there was something like condescending about him. And I don't know if it's just because, Dahomey sold more slaves than anyone else. Dahomey sold more slaves than anyone else. So to now see this guy speak to African Americans in this condescending way, as if to say, listen, ain't nothing bad happened to you. Ain't nobody, it is so crazy. But I digress. So it says pre-colonial Benin, or the kingdom of Dahomey and surrounding societies, had no concept of, quote, white people as a racial group. No racial hierarchy placing Europeans over Africans, and no linguistic need for a word describing European racial control. And that just makes sense. Which means none of what this man is talking about, unless he's talking about how modern, when is he saying this thing started? But let me continue reading. It says, so none of the major Benin languages, Fon, Yoruba, spoken in some regions of Benin, Gib languages, or Bariba, developed an indigenous word that matches the modern meaning. 2, the modern term is usually expressed as a description, not a single word. In Benin today, people generally express the idea of white supremacy using phrases, not a single indigenous vocabulary word. In Fon, there's no one word equivalent, but speakers may describe it as Agbaza Fon Tongaso, the domination of white people. Or, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. It says, or the belief that white people are above others. These are descriptive translations, not indigenous terms. In Yoruba, spoken in terms of Benin, again, no one word equivalent, but the concept can be expressed as white authority over black people, the rule of white people over others. These are interpretive, modern phrases. Right, so these are modern phrases. And that's not what he's trying to express. He's not trying to express an idea of the of the descriptive, of that modern descriptive. He's trying to say that, that's going way back. And that's kind of misleading, I think. It says colonial era terms are borrowed from French. Because Benin was colonialized by France, modern political vocabulary is usually based on French. So the commonly used term in Benin is simply supremacy blanque. This is the standard modern way Beninese scholars, journalists, and educators refer to white supremacy. And I think that they get is their idea of white supremacy kind of contemporary with the Western idea of white supremacy? I believe so. It's just the modern one. Why no traditional word exists? The idea of elevating white people as a global ruling race did not exist in African languages until Europeans brought it. Exactly. Like, so he even lying on his own people, bro. That's crazy. Similarly, let me read that again. The idea of elevating white people as a global ruling race did not exist in African languages until Europeans brought it. Similarly, there is no indigenous Akan word for white supremacy, no Igbo one-word equivalent, no Wolof one-word equivalent. African languages typically describe the concept rather than naming it. Right, it's something it's not their own invention. It's not their own invention. That's the bottom line. So for him now to be saying it's an African invented word is ridiculous.
Because we are just amazed by the things they've done. Well, we describe them always by inventions. When you take a toy and the toy is talking and it's moving, we're like, oh my God. Because yes, my people are not sophisticated. You know.
Why would we call a white person a white supremacist if, you know, well, I think it's because we were enslaved.
No, not. It is just observing the mere industrialization of their environment, which we haven't done. That's all. They can command water from far away through tubes into their bedrooms. We can even fetch a bucket of water from the next lake, you will be drowned. They can put electricity. We never had one in Africa. They have airplanes fly over us. It's amazing. Everything they've done is the reason my people say these people are superior, not because of slavery.
Yeah, I definitely think he's projecting. He's absolutely projecting. He's projecting his own views on white people and their superiority and his perceived superiority of them. And he's projecting that on, you know, his own people, and also especially on Black Americans as well. You know, that's why he's dismissing slavery, because, you know, it's the Black Americans that experience slavery, and Black Americans say it's slavery. Why they're called white supremacists, and, you know, and that's what they use to justify slavery. And this man is saying, no, it's our own inner thoughts of them. But he's projecting his own views onto those African Americans. But, you know, but African Americans know better than that. And, you know, I don't necessarily agree.
They came to colonize us and they brought things we have never seen before. They gave a king a mirror and he was dancing and sold his people away. They brought guns we have never seen, boom, and killed somebody right away. You know what they used to do in the Congo?
Right.
They put dynamite in the rocks and then they hide the switch. And then when they point their finger, it go boom. And the Congolese till today, they call the white man kiboom, the sound of the dynamite. And then they go down and they go like this. If they're not superior, why do you see every picture when the white men arrive in Africa, we bow into them?
If they're not superior, why are Africans bowing to them? So I asked ChatGPT, why do Africans bow to visitors? And it says Africans bowing, lowering themselves, or showing physical gestures of respect to visitors is not about inferiority or submission. It is part of a deep Pan-African cultural etiquette rooted in respect for others, hospitality, recognition of age, status, or guesthood, spiritual ideas of humility and harmony. The meaning depends on the region, but here are the key foundations. 1. In African cultures, hospitality is sacred. Across West, East, and Southern Africa, receiving a visitor is treated almost as a spiritual duty. To bow, kneel, or lower oneself communicates, quote, you are welcome here, quote, I honor your presence, and quote, you come in peace and are safe. It has nothing to do with race, whiteness, or submission. Africans do this for African visitors as well, especially elders. Respect for age and status. Many African societies, Yoruba, Akan, Igbo, Zulu, Oromo, Mandinka, etc., have hierarchical respect traditions. Examples: Yoruba in Nigeria and Benin, men perform a semi-prostration, women kneel, and it's done to elders, parents, in-laws, honored guests, chiefs, or kings. In Akan in Ghana, slight bow and handshake using the right hand with left hand supporting the right. Zulu in South Africa, a gentle bow or lowered posture when greeting others. Ethiopia, Amhara, Oromo, Tigrinya, bowing the head slightly is a sign of courtesy. In Somali, lowering the gaze or the head when greeting elders or respected visitors. This is cultural hierarchy, not racial hierarchy. 3. Humility is a core African value. In many African spiritual systems, humility is connected to community balance, respect for ancestors, harmony, and peace. To approach someone with humility is seen as strength, not weakness. 4. Bowing is also a way to prevent conflict. Many African societies historically valued gestures that avoided conflict. Lowering the head, open palms, bending slightly. These signaled peaceful intentions. This made social life safer and smoother in deeply communal societies. 5. White visitors were treated the same way as African visitors. There is a historical misconception that Africans bowed to Europeans because they were white. In reality, Africans bowed to everyone according to age or status. Europeans interpreted it as racial superiority, but Africans were applying their own rules of respect, not the Europeans' concept of race. A European visitor was simply a guest, and African etiquette dictates maximum hospitality to guests. Why people misunderstand this today? Because Europeans historically misread African hospitality as subservience. Colonial writings portrayed African greetings as inferior behavior. Modern people sometimes view bowing as submission. But in African cultural context, bowing is not submission, it's respect. Summary: Africans bow to visitors because of cultural respect traditions. Hospitality is a sacred duty, hierarchical etiquette based on age and status, values of humility, harmony, and peace, and a long history of communal greeting practices. Has nothing to do with racial inferiority and predates European contact by centuries. I don't know, that kind of makes more sense to me. I think that makes a little more sense to me. And I wonder, like, do most Africans believe this? Do most Africans believe that this is true? Do most Africans today believe that whites are superior? Like, now I'm really like, wait, is that a thing in Africa where Africans believe whites are superior? Is this the cat that's now out the bag? Like, Africans believe in white supremacy. That's what he's saying. And he's either expressing the truth of what's happening with Africans, or he's lying on Africans. And what ChatGPT is saying is the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, so which one is it? And the fact that he would lie about America, and say there's no history of this type of white supremacist institution anywhere, it's nowhere, he says. And the fact that he knows about the KKK, but acts as if he doesn't know that the KKK used the term, means that if he'll lie about America, and if he'll lie about America, he'll lie about Africa, and he'll lie on Africans too.
The Portuguese in my own town, Gele, all of these people, as soon as the Portuguese showed up, everybody was bowing. We have never seen a gun kill a human being. We have never seen a mirror. We have never seen a radio tune in and somebody is speaking from England, the Queen's voice. So for us, all these things, these people must be really superior and close to God. They used to have a joke in Ghana that when God said, let's pray, the white man opened his eyes. The black people were covering his eyes. So the white man saw how God created the world. That's why they are so good at what they do. And I'm telling you, these are folklores from which we grew up. If anyone told you that white people came to Africa to tell us they're superior, it's a lie. They never said that.
Okay. Frank Zanu is a pseudo-intellectual. Like, I don't know how else to say that. Do Africans today still bow? I mean, Africans in America, do they still bow to the white man? Do they feel like the white man is superior? I don't think so. I've never seen it. Has anyone ever seen it? Like, do Africans in Africa bow to every Portuguese they see? Like, they see a Portuguese and just start bowing everywhere? Or are they doing, or is this just like, government officials when you're meeting visitors and you're greeting maybe people that work at the airport? That's how they greet people coming off the airport. Like, you know what I mean? Like in Jamaica, they have their dancers greeting you when you get off the plane. In Africa, they got people bowing to the white folks. Like, or is this just something like, you know what I mean? Is it that type of thing? Or is it wherever you see a white man, when you go out shopping and you see a white man in the store, bow? Like, is that what this is about? Because that's what he's making it seem like. And that's gotta be pseudo. That can't be true. There's no way. He gotta be lying out his teeth. That's madness. And he's saying this is from folklore, so this goes way back, since forever. Africans have thought white folks are superior. But then, most interestingly for me is the fact that he's projecting that onto Black Americans. And by Black Americans, I mean, I can mean African Americans, Caribbean Americans, FBA. But he's projecting it on all of those people that have ever, all of those people who feel that it's slavery and is the reason why this legacy of white supremacy happens. That whole history that we spoke about with colonization and all of that. Because he's just denying all of that. All of that history he's denying. And all of that history would have to be denied for what this man to be saying to be true. And the fact that I just can't imagine that's how Africans really feel, like most Africans is that true? Some of my African friends got to come talk to me about this one, because this is madness.
So what should we call these groups?
Which groups? You call them what they are. What is BLM? Is it a black superiority? Supremacy? No. What did they say they are?
It's an advocacy group.
Yeah, it's the advocacy group. The Proud Boys advocacy group fighting for something.
Well, they're also called white nationalists. Would you be comfortable to call them white nationalists?
Anybody who said his organization is a white nationalist, I'll say fine. I'm a nationalist if I was living in Benin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you call somebody and ask him that stupid question, are you superior? What is the answer you expect him to tell you? If you ask me, I'll say, yes, you said it.
Which is true.
Yes, when Jesus Christ was questioned, did you say you're the Son of God? He said to Pontius Pilate, you just said it.
So we see the superiority in the white man, like Pontius Pilate saw the Godhead in Jesus. That's interesting. Interesting that he would put the white man and Jesus as equivalents. Interesting, because he's just showing the superiority, I guess. He definitely believes in white superiority. If what he's saying is true, he has to believe in white supremacy. Or he has to at some point say, yeah, I don't believe that anymore. Those are my silly African brethrens. not me.
Yeah, he said, I'm the son of
We
God.
say these names, Nancy, just so we feel relieved that, yes, this is why you're behaving that way. You think you're superior. Anytime somebody you think you're too pretty, he's confirming you are pretty.
Or you think you're all that.
That's correct. He's confirming you are all that. But he won't say you think, he said, he thinks he's all that. Did he tell you?
Confirmation.
That's his self-affirmation, pure and simple.
I see.
Yes. We have to just stop saying it.
Who should stop saying it? Everyone?
Yeah,
Media?
you and I, right now, we've agreed that it's just not a good thing to say.
Hey, can we start with you, sir, please? Can we start with you stopping saying what you're saying? Can we start with you? How much longer we gotta go with this video? How much? Let's see.
You know.
Yes, but the media and authors, they're constantly, whenever you click white supremacy, it just comes up. It's everywhere.
Yes.
And this is how they
We've said it in so many things, yes, okay? Nobody is bold enough to go on television and say, Black people does this. An old man who's a very good friend of mine said to me, I can't say it, Frank. I said, what is it you can't say? Are these kids in the classroom just lazy? They don't know, they don't want to do the work? I said, I don't know.
And he's describing what kids?
Black kids.
Okay.
Yes. So that is, you want to call the group by what they say they are, call that particular group.
Wow. So there's no question that he believes Black people are inferior. No doubt he believes Black people are inferior. He even brought up the whole idea of being in school and the fact that they can't learn. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. I'm really curious as to his whole project Rethink and what is that all about? And what is he rethinking? Whatever he's rethinking shouldn't even be thought about.
Black Lives Matter said they want to turn the whole thing upside down because they believe Black Lives Matter. Well, if you really do matter, you don't need a placard to tell me. Everybody would know it. The diamond doesn't need to tell you, I'm a precious material. It will never put a sign on itself. You know it is, no matter where you put it.
Well, I think with BLM, the reason why they did that is because they felt like with socioeconomic and so many issues in Black history, they feel like Black lives don't matter. And so they felt like they needed to call it something so that they get the awareness.
The only problem with that proclamation they made is that they never was able to point to any of us a place on earth where Black are treated as if they matter.
That's another show.
Yes, it is another show. You see, so the goal of Project Rethink is simple, to be able to question the conclusions. As you can see, I have not told you, I just said there is no such thing. And I have used questions to punch holes in the conclusions.
So he believes he's punching a hole in the conclusion that white supremacy has existed, or rather, he thinks he's punched a hole in the fact that white people invented white supremacy. His new conclusion is that Black people invented white supremacy. Sorry, Africans invented white supremacy. That's the new conclusion that he's drawn after punching a hole in the history of white supremacy.
Like you said, I have read it in books, I've seen it on television.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, except
we have,
just like Santa Claus, he's everywhere in December, except you never meet him in a restaurant, sitting down and saying hi to you.
Right.
But everywhere you look, it's there. So kids believe he's real until you reach 14. I think we have reached 14. We should stop believing that there is white supremacy, because psychologically it's doing harm to our children and to us. Anything you repeat. You see, what is funny is this. You think the children of the person you are calling white supremacists, when they hear it, they're like, ouch, no.
Right.
Say, wow, my people kick ass.
Right.
So if they are supreme, what are you?
You're building their confidence.
You're building their confidence, and you're telling your children that these people kick ass. They are superior. They're not reading into it. So the analogy I just gave, he behaves, he thinks he knows all that. Yes, he's affirming that what he has heard from you, you know a lot. She thinks she's pretty. Yes. Otherwise, you would have said, you are not pretty. You would have told the white man, you are not superior, if he had said so to you. You won't even repeat what he said because it's nonsensical.
Okay, Zanu, I get it. You don't want your people to believe in white supremacy. I get that. And I'm with you. But that doesn't mean you go around talking about white supremacy never existed. Like, you don't. Is that how you get people to get over white supremacy? By telling them it never existed? That's crazy. Like, you think it's not a ghost. It's not like you think white supremacy is like a ghost. That's what you want them to see it as. It wasn't a ghost. It was very real. It wasn't just a ghost. It was very real.
Frank, if you had students or children, how would you tell your children to describe these type of groups? Not calling them white supremacists, but what name would you give these type of groups? White people who would like to segregate themselves and do not want to be a part of
You've
colored.
just named the words. They are segregationists.
So you would call them just segregationists?
If they say they want to segregate, that is a word. Call them that. If a guy said, I like drinking, call him a drunkard.
Okay.
If a guy said, I beat women, call him a violent man. They like to segregate. There is nothing negative. There's nothing wrong with it. We call it comfort zone. I was traveling recently. I was waiting at Johannesburg airport, and I heard this guy say some words. It's not my language, just West African language I know. Dude, I jump out of my seat. I don't know him from anywhere. And I tap him, he turn around, I say the same word. We hug each other for 3 minutes based on just a word that is familiar to both of us. It's a comfort zone.
Comfort.
Yes, we all seek comfort zones, people who look like you. I've been to places where I saw very prominent black politicians from Bridgeport. And while they're there, it's all white people, one of these fundraisers. And you see him sitting outside smoking. Then when he saw me, thank God, one of us is here. And it's immediately, what is wrong? Is he wrong? Is he supremacist? No.
It's a comfort.
It's a comfort zone.
White people, they weren't being supremacists. They were just making themselves comfortable. It was just getting into their comfort zone. Like, oh man. This guy.
White people don't know us. If you go to Japan, they used to tell me when I'm entering restaurants, we've closed. Dude, I'm sitting down there seeing people go in. Are they racist? Yes. African Americans who pack their bag and leave the next day, they think they are racist. No. Japanese avoid confrontation at any cost. Conflict. They don't like it.
So you're saying
they don't know how to deal with you because they don't know. They think you have a different culture. And because they think their culture is so unique, take off your shoes, don't do this, everything in Japan. So instead of you, one person coming in and disturbing our establishment, I'm
how
closed.
did they know I was going to disturb their establishment?
Well, I don't have to try it. I just know you're not Japanese. So I don't know how to serve you. You don't know how to serve me. It's a whole lot of things they're trying to prevent. That is not racism.
But at the end of the day, I'm a human being.
No,
you don't know how to serve a human being?
No. Human being is simply you have two legs and you have two hands hanging. That is human being. Culture is different.
So if a Middle Eastern woman walked in there, they would have served her.
No, not necessarily. They've turned out white people. Actually,
they've turned.
Yes, because white guys don't wash their socks, and you take your shoes in a restaurant and they sit like this. Japanese, you don't show the inside of your thing. It's a Buddhist thing. Oh. Imagine a Buddhist culture allowing everybody. You have no more culture left.
I see. They'll be washed out.
Yes, and who wants to do that? Indians live in this country. How many Indians do you see walking around with black guys or with white guys? They marry each other because they understand it's a culture, it's a comfort zone. You can act properly and do properly. You don't have to, I'm not saying all of them, but it's not enough for me to be talking about the exception, right? There are exceptions. But when you look at India, do you see them interested in going out and marrying some white guy and black guy and green guys? No. If they can, they marry each other. Look at Koreans. You went to school in Washington. Korean girls who come to university, stay there. If they don't see a Korean to date, good. I'll graduate and go back. I'll find one. Only Japanese women will go out and marry, but not a Japanese man. In China, not a Japanese man, but in China, not Chinese men, but maybe Chinese women sometimes. Yes, it's a comfort zone. You can manipulate it.
Listen, whether Asians are racist or not, whether it's just about a comfort zone or not, white supremacy existed. And it was not a term invented by black people. White supremacy was invented or is an ideology that was created by white people because they thought they were superior. And it wasn't just about being comfortable. It wasn't just about being comfortable and being in a comfort zone. It was a political ideology. It was biological. They had a whole eugenics centered around it. This was a real thing. And it's not like one of these things, oh, you didn't get served in a Japanese restaurant. They didn't want to serve you. That's crazy, man. This guy.
They have communities here. Only we don't have communities.
Frank, you definitely dissect this well for me. I really believed at some point, yes. Well, in the beginning of this show, I really thought, yes, there is something called white supremacists, because these are a group of folks who don't want to be with anyone else but themselves. And they don't have the same culture as us, or they don't have the same culture as the rest of the United States.
Yeah.
The United States is a melting pot and very different in religious views, political views.
To be honest, I view it as a respect when they do that. It's a man admitting to you, I don't have the ability to adapt to other people. That's all he's telling you. Leave me alone. How big is the United States? Why do you want to just go there?
Why did I want to go where?
No, not you.
Oh.
Yeah, the people who say they want to segregate. I respect them. That is a very painful admission. He's telling you, I don't have the ability to adapt.
You more than respect them. You think they're superior. He thinks segregationists want to segregate because they respect you. Segregationists are like respectfully. I don't really think that's why segregationists choose to segregate, sir. Respectfully. I don't think that's why.
He doesn't have to meet you to know I've seen black culture. Our dance forms, no other culture. Very aggressive and forceful. The way we laugh, the way we enjoy. We're not these.
Wait, but isn't that pure, like, so the way I looked at white supremacists is, it's not that they not only not want to be with you, but they don't like you. They don't hate you. They don't like your
Well,
customs.
that's your
They don't
feeling.
like your culture.
No, anybody who says I don't want to play with you, you feel he doesn't like me.
Good point.
Yes, that is your feeling. Who wants to be rejected?
She keeps saying he's making good points. But then again, there are times when you can just tell she knows he's talking foolishness. She has to know he's talking foolishness. And it's a shame she's not able to express some ideas to kind of show that he's talking foolishness.
You're not careful to want to know why. Until I met the mayor of my town, Hoyashi, in Japan, and I told my mayor, why when I'm going to Japanese restaurants, they tell me away. When I go to the, ryokan, they tell me away, and he said, no, they're not racist. We become jittery when we don't know how to interact. It's called xenophobia.
Mm-hmm.
So, racism, bad. Xenophobia, good. Yeah? Okay.
You don't want to look stupid. In Japanese, they want to be perfect all the time.
Okay.
If I'm going to serve this man and I make a mistake, my face is down. So rather avoid it. So he gave me a word to use, which is a greeting that says, I am sorry for being a burden on you. And it changed everything.
So once you said that,
Yes. She knows that.
but I wouldn't want to walk around thinking that I'm a burden.
Well, then
for
stay in your country. Don't go anywhere.
Well, I
Because
want
there
to
is
visit. I
There
want
is something
to.
called multicultural communication, multicultural understanding, multicultural. We teach it. It's very expensive. You think it's there for nothing? It's
But-
there to prepare you to know where you're going and how to make the larger community feel comfortable, not for them to make you feel comfortable. You buy that comfort.
So because you don't know how to serve me, I need to dumb down.
No. It's not a dumbing down. That's a very American, and
I'm
you
basically
are.
basically saying I'm so sorry that you
have
cannot
come.
serve me.
You have come to.
But can you serve me?
No, you've come.
Did y'all see that look she gave him? I knew it. She think he's full of crap, bro. This man is full of crap. And when I say he's full of crap, what I mean to say is he's full of himself.
to disturb what we call disturb
Disturb.
a status quo, a functioning status quo.
Mhm.
You, if you are a man of conscience, you know that I am different. I cannot expect the majority to disorganize themselves to accommodate me. I have to find that accommodation, make them feel that I come with knowledge about you. So when they say,
But don't they know I'm traveling to their country? Don't they know that there are, visitors? There's people coming.
yeah, there are foreign hotels. We call them foreign hotels. Go there. You go in.
To stay at the Marriott?
That's correct. That's why we have the ryokan. Ryokan is traditional Japanese hotels.
Okay.
You take off your shoes and your clothes at the door, standing naked, and a woman will give you what is called yukata, and you wear it.
Okay.
You understand? And then you wear sneakers. The whole bamboo floor is polished. You can eat from it. You all, men and women, have to take a shower in one spring water, okay? Warm spring. Sit and I wash your bag. Western people are not comfortable doing that. So don't come here. But out of curiosity, some of we foreigners want to go there. And then it has caused problem already. Mm-hmm. The woman won't behave this way if there hasn't been a precedent to this. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
People segregate because they know something already.
They know what? They know as a Black person that
they have had situations where maybe they were not, able to. Look, even in the United States, you go to a predominant suburbia town, restaurant, there's going to be a problem soon.
Why is that?
Why are you asking me something you know already?
We have Black people who live in suburban areas.
I am not saying the exception. I'm saying largely. We go there, we want to talk loud as when we come to quiet you down. Lady, don't talk to me like that. You have a problem. Let's admit that. Sensible people do it. When I go anywhere and I'm the minority, I have to admit that there is a set status quo that has been working, and now I'm here to disturb it. Yes, it's
so I must behave.
Not behave, if you want to call it those words. You just have to be aware that people are feeling uncomfortable because they want to be right.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, that's the end of the video. Thank God. Wow. That was crazy, bro. That was crazy. So he went from defending white supremacy to defending xenophobia. And this man is too much, bro. This man is way too much. I'm, I don't know. He needs to rethink whatever he's rethinking. But yeah, that's about it, man. Thank y'all for coming in and checking out the video. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You done know. Blessings. Catch y'all on the next one.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Just because we're Black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're Black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Brought us from the motherland in bondage and chains. Bury our culture and change our names. They claim we're free, yet we are in pain. As long as there's life, there's a lot to gain. Just because we're Black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're Black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. When God spoke his words, they said he was deranged. Marley sung his songs, they said the same. Malcolm X and Martin Luther fought relentlessly so we could be better. Just because we're Black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're Black, they brought us from the motherland in bondage and chains. Bury our culture and change our names. They claim we're free, yet we are in pain. As long as there's life, there's a lot to gain. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say